I've got a really quick news update for you today. CPI numbers for the UK came out this morning as expected at 10.5%. The US had PPI and retail sales numbers both missed this morning, with both of them coming out even lower than expected. PPI came out to negative 0.5% and retail sales numbers at negative 1.1%. Later today, Australia's new unemployment rate will be released.
All right, so here we go into the market heat map. Let's see how all of our assets are trending so far today. Starting off up here with our major US dollar pairs, and most of our major US pairs are up on the day so far, with NZD USD being the biggest mover to the upside, up 1.34% on the day, whereas USD CHF is down 1.2% on the day so far. Our indices don't have a whole lot of movement going on. The US 30 is down 1.14%. The JP225 is up 2.5%, but other than that, not a whole lot of movement coming in here for our other major indices. Taking a look at all assets, I can actually see that the JP225 is the biggest mover to the upside so far today, up 2.5% like I just mentioned. Oil following somewhat closely behind it, up 1.87% on the day so far. And gold right here also up on the day so far, up 0.81% so far today. Our euro pairs are mostly moving down. Euro NZD down 0.63%. Euro USD, the biggest mover to the upside for our euro pairs, up 0.77%. Pound pairs looking a little bit similar, most of them moving to the upside. However, GBP USD, the biggest one to the upside, up 1.11%. And Euro GBP, the biggest mover to the downside, down 0.34%. Most of our yen pairs are trending upwards. NZD JPY up 1.14%. USD JPY, on the other hand, down 0.22%. Swiss franc pairs not performing very well. USD CHF, like we mentioned, down 1.35%. CHF JPY up 1% so far today. And lastly, our Australian dollar pairs and New Zealand dollar pairs, again, look fairly similar, with Aussie US and Aussie CAD being the two biggest movers to the upside, up 0.95 and up 0.96% on the day. And our New Zealand dollar pairs show NZD CAD and NZD USD up 1.46% and 1.52%. I'll mention also that Euro NZD down 0.63% and Aussie NZD down 0.46%. All right, so that was a quick look at our market heat map. That's how our assets are trending so far today. If we head on over into the watch list, we can get a look at our buy and sell signals that the Edge Finder is giving us so far today. I'm going to remove these neutral biases as well as our indices and commodities, just because I want to focus on currency pairs.
Are you interested in our market scanning software, the Edge Finder? You can try it today for free. Click the link in the description and fill out the form letting us know you're interested in the software. A member from our team will contact you with trial access information. The Edge Finder has brand new features like price forecast and economic news. There has never been a better time to try out the software for yourself. Click the link in the description and try it out for free today.
NZD CAD is still a strong buy listed, score of +7, and other than that, we don't really have a whole lot else. NZD CHF and USD CAD both barely squeezing into the buy section with scores of +3. We have a good amount of sells, however, including two strong sells, GBP NZD and Aussie NZD, and GBP JPY is another one that stands out to me a little bit with a score of -5. Now, we had such a quick news day that I figured that it would be nice to take a look at two pairs really quickly. I think we're going to take a look at GBP NZD because we took a look at NZD CAD yesterday. It also had that same buy score of +7. So if you're interested in a breakdown on that, you can check out yesterday's video where we went over NZD CAD. But we're going to take a look at GBP NZD today. And I think we're going to look at GBP JPY as well. We'll get a look at our pound, New Zealand dollar, and yen numbers in the Edge Finder. I'll go a little bit quicker with GBP JPY because we'll have already looked at all of the numbers for the pound. So let's go ahead and get right into it with GBP NZD, our biggest mover to the downside, or excuse me, our biggest sell bias rather. Our strongest sell is what I should have said. But let's see, a score of -7 here. COT data, a score of -2, and retail sentiment is a neutral 0 score. We can take a look at those numbers right over here. Our institutional trader data is showing 70.57% long on the New Zealand dollar and 29.43% short, whereas the pound is currently 64.51% short and 35.49% long. So some heavy favoritism long side from institutional traders on the New Zealand dollar, and a slight favoritism short side on the pound from institutional traders. Retail traders, however, 56% long and 44% short. So we're pretty close to that 50-50 mark, which is why we're getting that 0 score there. But a very, very, very slight bias towards the long side from retail traders. Our seasonality is showing a score of +1, and here in the last 10-year average and last 5-year average, we can see that in the month of January, historically speaking, this pair has performed bullishly. However, that has not been the case so far in the current year average. Our last 10-year average sitting just above that 0 line there, and our last 5-year average shows that, again, historically speaking, this pair does typically perform fairly well in the month of January, but of course that has not been the case so far. We can see here with our trend reading and a score of -2 that we've had some strong downward momentum over the past couple of days. Starting January 16th and over the last 2 days, it has taken a strong move to the downside. We had a bit of consolidation here over the last couple of days before that downward move, but overall, trend-wise, it has been making some downward moves, and price forecast predicts that that will continue to be the case. And lastly, with our fundamental section here, GDP growth, inflation, unemployment, and interest rates all coming in with scores of -1, meaning the New Zealand dollar is beating out the pound in all 4 of these fundamental metrics here that we can get into right now. Pound GDP growth -0.3% compared to New Zealand dollar's 2%. UK unemployment 3.7% compared to New Zealand's 3.3%. UK inflation 10.5% compared to 7.2% in New Zealand. And lastly, UK interest rates 3.5% compared to New Zealand's 4.25%. So strongest sell bias that we have in the Edge Finder so far, looking like it could potentially continue on that way, especially fundamentally speaking. But GBP JPY was the other pair that we said that we were going to take a look at. Not a strong sell bias, but a pretty solid sell score of a -5. So we'll get into those numbers here in just a second. I'm going to skip over most of our pound numbers because, again, we just looked at GBP NZD, so we're going to have all the same numbers for the pound. So I'm going to focus more on the yen and go through this one a little bit quicker. But COT data and retail sentiment are both 0 scores, and we can see over here why that is. Institutional traders both favored short on the yen and the pound, with the yen coming in at 29.94% long and 70.06% short. So institutional traders both favored short on the yen and the pound, which is why we're getting that neutral score there. And then retail traders, again, very close to 50-50, 55% long, 45% short. So not a heavy bias one way or the other, which is why we're getting that 0 score there as well. Our seasonality is a score of -1, and that we can see here in the last 10-year average that, historically speaking, in the month of January, this pair does perform bearishly, similar in February and March. We score all of these months separately. This is not a moving average, but rather each month, how has that pair performed for that month specifically. But again, historically speaking, over the last 10 years, in the month of January, February, and March, this pair does not perform very well. In the last 5-year average, however, we can see in the months of January and February that it does perform somewhat bullishly. It's not below this neutral line here, but in March it finally does dip below that line there. Our current year average, however, shows us way down here. So far this month, this pair has been very, very bearish. Our trend reading is a score of -2, and we can see strong downward momentum here before coming back up a bit and moving back down even lower than this low here. It did shoot back up over the past couple of days, but price forecast predicts that this will continue to keep moving to the downside, most likely because we can't see that far back right here in this daily chart view, but I'm sure that there has been lots of downward momentum, downward moves that give us this strong -2 score in the trend reading here. Lastly, our fundamental section, GDP growth, inflation, and unemployment, are scores of -1, whereas interest rates is the one area where the pound is beating the Japanese yen, fundamentally speaking. So let's take a look at those yen numbers right over here. We have Japan's GDP growth at -0.2%, Japan's unemployment rate at 2.5%, Japan's inflation at 3.8%, and lastly, Japan's interest rates lower than the UK interest rates at -0.1%.
Hey, Frank's here, guys.
Hello.
Hey, here's Frank. Hold on. We can maybe switch to a bigger screen for a second in just a moment. Give us 1 second so we can kind of see right over here. Hey, there's Frank. I'll scoot over so you can get in.
Oh, there's the camera. Hello.
Guys,
Sorry.
this is Frank. Like I said, technical difficulties. Everybody spam hello, Frank, in the chat. Yeah, we just got to sort out your microphone situation.
We couldn't figure it out, so I just decided to come in.
Frank, what are you long on? What are you short on?
I'm long S&P.
Okay.
Oh,
Nice.
I'm about at break even right now. I bought it yesterday. I'm hoping to break that top right there.
Yep.
So I saw a little
So you were
higher
looking
highs.
for the breakout candle, right?
I was, and I bought a little below that, but still waiting on confirmation because it went up to the test, but then came back down.
Yeah, that wick was kind of nasty, but it's back there. And we talk about it often, but it's like the forgiveness of being with the trend, because even though maybe the entry is not perfect, sometimes you still like that trend helps you out and keeps going in your favor. Is there anything else you're long or short on, or is that the only trade on right now?
That's the only one right now, but I'm trying to get into more risk on pairs.
Okay. Which one's in mind? NZD USD?
I like the Kiwi, and I also like Euro.
Oh, look at this. Dang, NZD breaking clean through the highs today. That's awesome.
If you look at actually the Edge Finder says NZD CAD
Yeah.
is like the strongest buy, and I wish I got in. I was looking at it, and then it broke that level overnight or something. Completely missed it.
Yeah, let's look at the chart. NZD CAD really quick. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that thing exploded. That's from the pivot low here, that's 180 pips to the upside. So massive runner there. I definitely like that one as well. If we can get a retest, maybe somewhere like here. It's a bit of a ways away, but these things move quick, so it's
Already took off.
Yeah. That 50% looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep.
I could see that as a retest.
Yep.
But so inflation kind of came down a bit. So I've been looking at Euro, even pound, but also I want to stay more involved in the S&P because I'm just waiting on that break because I think there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, if that breaks, you probably have a run back up into the 41.50 almost. Well, 41.50, just right around here. Yeah, it's possible. So that's cool. Well, Frank, thank you for showing up on the stream anyways. I know we'll sort out the technical difficulty. Everybody, Frank, for coming on.
Bye, everyone.
Well, I'm sure we'll be seeing more of Frank soon.
Make sure you guys check out the links in the description if you need broker recommendations, access to our free Discord, or want to chat with us on Telegram. If you're interested in our trading software, the Edge Finder, you can find that in the description as well. Thanks for watching.